Now we want to create this design. Pay attention that what you see in the picture. We see a white layout that all have border radius, and some are white with 100% opacity, and some are white with lower opacity. We see a search element that is expanded in the next screen, a full width button that is used here in the next screen. We see title text, description text, stay cards, bottom tab, and the icons. So we create these elements for the first screen. It's enough to make the elements for the first screen, and then in the next screens you can expand them to match the original design. Let's start with the white layout. When you'd like to make a new component, a new element, and you want to see the result, you cannot code the whole way and then see the result, because you may encounter many problems and errors that you do not know which elements are subjected to these errors. So you have to code line by line and see the result in your mobile screen, in your emulator, so you can find the errors and the reasons they show up. Now we have a home element. We made this just for test. So we use it for test again. We had two texts here. We remove them and we save that. If we go to the shared folder, make a folder named components. It means that we have components that are shared between other components and elements. So we make one element named, for example, white layout.js, or white rounded layout, because you might have some other white layouts in the future, future designs, future screens. So you've got to specify what is this white layout used for, or what does it look like exactly. Now we want to create this element. We use this abbreviation IMR, import from React. Import from React. It imports React from React. If you use imrc, means that import React and components from React. But we do not use component here for now. It's better to use and import as low components as possible. I use imrn, means that import from React Native. Import React Native. Import from React Native, so you can import any modules you need from React Native. I always import Vue for the first time, and then I expand. I write a functional component, white rounded layouts. And return a view. tag. Then export default. ED means export default. My component white rounded layout. But as I told you, to use export star from, for example, a components folder, I removed default, included in these curly brackets. When you wrap your component in curly brackets, React Native looks at this like you are giving a list of components that you want to export. So in the index.js of the components folder, you can export it by export everything from that file with a star. So it makes sense for React Native that you have many components here and you want to export all and you don't want to name each of them. So we make an index.js and writing export star from white rounded layout. And we come back to our code. So our component here is ready. There's just one thing to do, just exporting everything from components folder. Components. Okay, now we go to our test component and load white round layout. Wait until this window appears so it auto imports from share folder. It makes our work so easy. White round layout. So I save it and go to white round layout, and you see that no errors appear here. So we can continue our work. Let's look at the white round layout design again. You see that it has some paddings, equal paddings from top, left, right, and bottom. And it's the same almost everywhere. You see here, it's almost the same. So I just want a view, and here I style it. For now, I style in line, and then I remove all the styles and move them to styles.js component that I make in the further steps. It's easier now to edit the styles here. So I give a background color default and border radius default 8, padding default 5, and see how it appears on the screen. We must give width and height to this view to appear on the screen, or give contents to it. We do not have any contents for now, and so we just give width and height equal to, for example, 100 and height of, for example, 48. So you see that it appears here, and the border radius is low, so I double it to see if it gets more similar to our design. Okay, I think it's now so similar to the design. Now we don't have the XD file of this design. Because of it, we get these numbers by just try and error. But if you have XD file from your design, you can use it to get more specific and give more specific dimensions. I removed this width and height because we do not want to limit the width and height. Now we want to say that our component should receive children because we have to make search element with it, make map icon, make this welcome element. So our component should receive children props. But what is props? Props are variables that are passed to a component by the parent component. On the other hand, states are variables that are initialized and modified inside the component. For example, a style for the view is a prop that is given by the parent component right-rounded layout to it. And by giving props.children to a view tag, you say that I have made a component that is used like a tag. Like we made a right-rounded layout that is used like the view tag. It opens and closes, and between it you can write your code. I can write props.children here, or something better and more professional. You can write here constant children. For example, children style, and this line means that children and style are the attributes in the prop subject. So I remove these props and I have now these children constant that I give from other component to it. And here I add 3 dots and at the end I write a style. It means that first apply this styling, then if a style attribute is defined in another component, apply that at the end. You might overwrite all these and you might not overwrite any of these. It's your choice, depending on the element you're creating with it.